Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're kind of relatively new here, I just wanted to show you today some things that I've recreated in the past and present, and I thought I'd start right back at the beginning. Just a disclaimer that some of these things aren't great, and I'm just showing you just because I want to just share with you some of the stuff that I've done before and how I've progressed. I started off with doing a Nemesis recreation. This is about 4-5 years old now, maybe 4 years, and it was entirely vanilla. I didn't use any pieces. I did try and go in and update it a couple years ago and gave up. I just couldn't be bothered. I thought if I'm going to do this, I'd have to redo it properly from the beginning again. But for the time that I built this, I was super happy with it. There wasn't really any mods out at the time either to build with. There are footers like I'm pointing to now, which I did try and add in later on, but you know, I just ignore those really. But the layout is completely vanilla. I didn't use any track edit mod or anything like that to do it. Yeah, so the coaster is from Molten Towers. I love Nemesis. It's one of my favorites. It's an invert coaster. I tried to recreate it as best as possible. The station was really difficult, as you can see there. But let's just watch the train go around a little bit. There obviously is, of course, some in-game supports. I tried and made some custom supports using some vanilla pieces at the time, but as the game has developed over time, the methods of getting rid of supports changed. I used to use the bush, and you can't use the bush anymore. Also, you'll probably be able to notice as well in this park file that the terrain is the old style terrain where it was all blocky and you could only raise up the terrain by a solid height, and you couldn't do the halves, which you can do now. So that was a big change in the game that was made a couple years back. But for the time and for what we could do in Parkitect at the time, I was really happy with this. I think if I was to do it again now, it would be a lot better. But there's more for Molten Towers in this episode if you stick around. This isn't the first recreation I've done from that park. But yeah, I really liked it. It was on Steam. It's not there anymore, I don't think. Or if it is, it's labeled as old and broken because it's got some broken things in it that don't really work anymore. Now, all I have, unfortunately, is a couple of screenshots of this one. But I tried to make Cannibal from Lagoon. And this was a very old recreation that I did. And was, you know, back in the beginning when I didn't really do them very often. And the same here with Viper from Six Flags Magic Mountain. Also recreated that. This was before the Arrow Coaster mod came out, so I would like to have done that with that mod. But all I have there are those screenshots, unfortunately. That leads me on to this park file, which I never shared with you on my channel. I tried to recreate Bobbejaanland Land from Belgium, and I'd been to the park. This was about 2.5 years ago, and I thought the park was quite simple enough to try and do in the park, in Parkitect. And it uses kind of like a grid format, the park. I mean, it's not on a grid, but it has that kind of style to it. And all the coaster types are also within the game. So I thought I could maybe recreate it. I'm not going to show you too much here because it's a bit boring. But I recreated Typhoon, as you can see here. The in-game supports have come back, which I got rid of, which is going to be an ongoing theme with this video. Some things have changed. This is a very old file. And so even like the station now is different in real life. Here's a suspended coaster called Dreamcatcher. I'm not going to show you all the rides that I built for this park because they're not all that interesting, but I'll show you the ones that I think are good to look at. Dreamcatcher is a suspended coaster, and I never ever built this coaster in the game. And maybe I should use it more often, but if you watch the train now, it has a bit of a problem. You'll see coming up very soon. But yeah, this is why these older files are sometimes not worth carrying on with, just because it's a lot of work to fix. For example, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that happens. So that's my cue to move on to the next one. So this is Galactica, or formerly known as Air, from Molten Towers. This was an old recreation I did about maybe a year and a half ago, and this was before the mod set, the supports came out, the supports mod set. So I used other pieces. Since then, I've just gone in and updated it recently, so you can now download this on the Steam Workshop. But you know, the things have changed with this ride since I'd ridden it. I rode it as Air, and since then it had an update with the Galactica theme. The station changed, so I didn't know too much, so I had to do a bit of research. But this was kind of like the beginning for me with doing these proper recreations. The Nemesis one was just fun. This one was, I tried to make it accurate and detailed and try and add all the things into it that it has in real life. So I have this little, little seating area, the Galactica gate there, the station as well. I tried to make that as correct as possible. And the support work I did actually using the architect toolbox kit, whatever it's called. And since then, like I said, I've replaced them with the support mod. But I really enjoyed building this park, and the actual original video I uploaded was so laggy, it was unbelievable. And since then, it's a little bit better. I do have the graphics turned down, that's why my trees don't look very good. But if you have the graphics turned up, the trees look awesome. I really tried to get the colors from some pictures that I had seen. I actually used the color picker from real trees and put them onto these trees. But here's the entrance to the ride. I just created it using little pieces from different scenery packs and tried to get it to look like the Galactica sign. There's one problem with this park, and it's this in-game support beam. I cannot get rid of it no matter what I try. It's just in a place where you just cannot get rid of it. It's so annoying. But moving on, let's watch a little clip of the coaster running around. Like I said, this is on Steam if you want to download it and have a look. Maybe you want to build Nemesis on the side and create the rest of Forbidden Valley, or maybe you're building an Alton Towers theme park. You're welcome to use this if you want to. It's yours to have on the Steam Workshop. So yeah, here's the layout. I do quite enjoy this coaster. I'm always going to call it Air. It's always Air for me. It's quite a fun ride. It's not too fast. It's not too thrilling, but it's definitely a pleasant ride, and I do enjoy it. There are other flying coasters out there that I do prefer, Tatsu. But yeah, this is definitely a fun one, and one of the only flying coaster in Europe. Yeah, it must be. Well, B&M flying coaster. I don't count those Zamperla ones. Terrible. If you've watched Expedition Theme Park on YouTube, that YouTube channel, he's got some great videos about flying coasters recently, and he sums up the Zamperla ones in a video. And I need to say more. Really terrible. The worst flying coasters ever. But yeah, that's the coaster there. There's the maintenance area. I fortunately couldn't really do the transfer track correct. I wanted to have another S-bend piece to really connect those tracks up, and I couldn't find a way to do it, so just had to leave it like that for now. But yeah, this recreation really kind of paved the way, I should say, to my other recreations with how I started to apply detail and realism to my parks and to my rides. And so this was kind of like the kind of beginning of it, really. So that leads me on to the next one. Here's Raptor from Cedar Point. If you've been subscribed to me for about a year now or so, you would have seen the series I did on this, but I just wanted to kind of dig it up and bring it back to the surface because I'm really proud of this recreation, and I think I want to share it a bit more. It is on the Steam Workshop. Unfortunately, there are a few in-game supports that have popped back, and I don't know why. So I'm going to have to go in and update that a little bit. But all the support work is there, and I basically did this park because of the supports mod that came out, and I thought I can really do a correct ride now and do all the support work correct. And so I chose to do Raptor. And for this park, or this kind of recreation, was where it really began for me, where I started to make these kind of atmosphere sections of parks. I didn't intend to do that, it just happened by accident. I was building Raptor and I only intended to do the layout and the ride and the station, and then that kind of grew and grew and grew. Ended up doing this whole area of Cedar Point, totally didn't mean to, but there's a little bit of Mean Street. I did a little bit of Valraven there just to kind of make the area look correct. And I mean, you're welcome to take that bit of Valraven and build onto it if you ever want to, if you want to save that as a blueprint. But yeah, obviously some things are slightly different from the real thing because it's not possible within the game's limits. But I really love this recreation. It's one of my proudest things I've done in this park or this game. And let's just watch the train go around. So I've just fast forwarded it there so you didn't have to watch the lift hill. But the train, it takes the layout. I paced it quite well. The layout's pretty correct. I used the track edit mod for this just to really move the pieces around to get it really accurate. This is when my attention to detail became more. I really started to notice more things, and I applied all the things I learned while building this park or this creation. I applied to my future parks that I've been doing, and I really I learned a lot from this, and I really love this recreation that I did. And I like Cedar Point a lot. The coasters there are fantastic, and they make great builds if you try and recreate them. The color schemes, the way they are laid out in the park and stuff, and you know, they have great layouts as well. So doing Raptor was something, it was a big challenge, and it really took me a long time. Really enjoyed doing it. But that's why I kind of started doing the Maverick recreation, and I'll get onto that a little bit more in a minute. But I just wanted to do something else from Cedar Point. But I'm just going to quickly show you just a little bit more here. Here's the transfer track area that I did, the queue line as well. And then here's a bit of the midway. I tried to recreate the atmosphere of the midway, and I have this kind of cable car, this nice little passage as well that goes underneath the coaster, this kind of food court area, which I tried to make as accurate as I could, and just kind of the rest of this, even the paving and the little kind of shrubbery areas, the restaurants and the sky ride. I really tried to pack it all in there. But yeah, I'm doing the Maverick one because I wanted to try and create as much detail as I did in this one into the Maverick one. And so I hope you're sticking around and watching that, because I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching this video. I have one more recreation to come out on my channel, but I'm not going to reveal what it is just yet. But that leaves me with one question. What recreation would you like me to build next? See you next time. Bye.